Crisis in the White House.
The Trumps get corona.
Let's talk about it, y'all. Middle America. Well, there's really not much to say here. Everybody and their mother knows that Mr. Trump,
Some people...
President Trump tweeted last night that he and Melania tested positive for coronavirus.
Some people are already kind of putting it out there that it's just a political ploy. That they really don't have it.
What?
Yeah. I saw people posting that on Facebook. Maybe he has it, but maybe with the elections just a month away, I'm not really sure how that would work in his favor. Maybe it would be like, you know, he gets through it and then he's like, I've been through it, like I can really help our, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know what people are thinking as to why he would fake that, but.
Well, you know, here's CNN. The diagnosis amounts to the most serious known health threat to a sitting American president in decades. At 74 years old and obese, Trump falls into the highest risk category for serious complications from the disease, which has killed more than 200,000 Americans, more than 1 million people worldwide.
Is he obese?
Yeah, he's probably obese. I mean, he's not a spring chicken, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, but I just didn't picture him to be obese. I mean, I could see he's overweight a little bit, but I wouldn't have said he's obese.
Politics in America right now are just the worst. There was a Miss Hicks that was traveling with him that was positive for COVID. And there's speculation that that's where
it came from?
Yeah, because they're traveling on plane and all that.
And probably no masks on the plane.
I mean, really, you know, Christy Teigen and John Legend just lost their child. And Christy Teigen is pro-choice. So there's a bunch of so-called pro-lifers who are tormenting her on social media. You had...
What in the world?
Right-wingers celebrating the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I mean, people are just absolutely horrible. Horrible.
Jeez.
And you know, we're at the point now in our current zeitgeist where there's no let up. You know, people have completely lost their humanity.
Jeez.
At the end of the day, this is a human being created in the image of God. And it's the same thing I said about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You know, like, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was one of the most radical pro-choice folks in the Supreme Court. And everybody knows our position. We're pro-life. We do not believe in killing children. Mm-mm. But there's a time and a place for things. And when she died, it's you just recognize that a fellow human being has now left the planet. They're gone off to the Ein Sof, and, you know, she's going to have to answer to God for whatever. Mm-hmm. But it is always bad when a human being dies. And so this disease has afflicted 200,000 Americans. I mean, it has killed 200,000 Americans, people that we've known.
207,000, I think, now.
Yeah, and has killed 1 million people all over the planet Earth. So it is a serious issue.
It's crazy because you said 200,000 and I'm like, no, it's 207,000.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's 7,000 people that you were not counting.
Correct.
Like, that's a big number. 7,000 people.
That's twice the amount of people that died on 9/11.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, no, you're absolutely right. Like, so it's a horrible situation, and I've been very consistent about Corona as far as politicians go. Everybody gets a pass, whether it's Pelosi, who, you know, said that Trump was exaggerated and called him a racist for going to, you know, shutting down China, and then telling people in New York to go to Chinatown and all this craziness.
Yeah.
Or whether it's Trump, you know, and the right-wing folks calling this a hoax and all the rest of it. I've been pretty consistent that I think it's ridiculous to blame any single politician or even any party for the 200,000 deaths. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that's crazy. However, you know, when Herman Cain died, Herman Cain said, we're going to this Trump rally and we're not gonna, you know, they didn't mandate masks, and he said, people are tired, Herman Cain says.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we shot a video on this. Then the next thing was Herman Cain has coronavirus after he went to that, you know, that rally without any, you know, and then it's Herman Cain's dead.
Yep.
Like, But then what ended up happening with the right wing? They were like, oh, he had cancer, blah, blah, blah.
I know.
No, he overcame cancer over a decade ago. So, but again, when Herman Cain died, they didn't even address it. Mm-hmm. They just, Herman Cain went to that event unmasked. He made a big deal out of it, and 2 or 3 weeks later he was dead. And
it was all those pictures when he was close by everybody.
Trump did not address it in the context of what it meant from Corona. Mm-hmm. He didn't. Mm-hmm. It was like some random. I don't even know if it was an RIP or whatever that day. I'll have to go back and look at the video, but. It's things like this where people go, wait a second here. Like, again, you can feel bad for him, but at the same time, it's like, wait a second, bro.
Yeah.
So the point of this for me is I'm very disturbed that our president has coronavirus because say what you want, he's still our president and America's still our country and he's the prime American right now on the planet. I don't care how you feel about him. That's our president, and you got to have some sort of some degree of patriotism to some degree. Good night.
Yeah.
So it's a horrible situation, and CNN is right. I mean, he's definitely in the at-risk category. The positive thing for Mr. Trump, though, is that he's a billionaire.
That's what I was going to say.
And he's also the president of the United States, which means he's got access to the best doctors, the best everything.
Yeah, he's not going to get the kind of treatment that our friends got, where they were just sent away without proper treatments, or, some people, I guess, weren't able to get those.
The first person that we knew of that had contracted corona was one of our street folks.
I'm sure she didn't get the care she needed.
Oh, no. They just told her they told her go home and die, basically. Literally.
That's nice.
Ashley hit me up and she said, yes, and I'm like, and this was kind of like close to the beginning. I'm like, how's, before like people really started dropping over this thing. And I'm like, and they told her just basically uninsured person, and they just told her go home and die. And then I checked up on her 48 hours later. She was already gone. So it's hard for me. And then of course, I had a good friend, kid that I, was mentoring, whatever, and he died in his apartment by himself, 25 years old. So it's not something where I'm going to sit there and celebrate and do cartwheels or, that's our president. He's a human being. Like,
honestly,
I've been very disappointed. Even in some of my own community, I've been very disappointed.
For sure. I think that, our stance on being pro-choice. And that we are pro-life, but there are people that are pro-life that, like you said, will celebrate the deaths of people. You said it was pro-lifers that were going after this woman and celebrating the death of her child.
Yeah.
Like, that's really disgusting and really, really terrible. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I'm glad that we can be consistent in our pro-life stance and say it doesn't matter who they are or what's going on. Like, the death of a human being is still the death of a human being.
Yeah.
And, you can separate the horrible things that someone has done from the fact that they died, and you can condemn the stuff that's wrong, but at the same time say, well, they're a human being and they've left the planet. And
and obviously
I'm very glad that we can have that level of consistency, because I wouldn't want to be the type of person that was celebrating the death of a baby.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Or celebrating the fact that our president has the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Like, just stop and think of, if that's you, like, what type of a person are you that you would be like that?
Yeah, and keep in mind, even if you hate Trump, and it's like I said about people shooting those cops over in, Kentucky or whatever it was. Even if you hate Trump, Trump has kids, and there are people around him that love him. Mm-hmm. So it's I'm sure it's a hard time for that family. So definitely going to be praying for them for sure. But it's a hard thing to think about. On the other hand, it has to be stated that the way that once this virus really started kicking off, he was slow to get people to wear masks. There were people from his camp. I don't know if he himself ever said it was a hoax, but he hasn't shown the leadership and the urgency to his base, who have been saying, we see it all the time, these people talk about it's a hoax and this and that, and yet people are dropping consistently, and people are saying all this crazy misinformation.
This is less than the flu.
Yeah, people comparing it to the flu. We had, like 38,000 deaths in the 2018-2019 flu season for the entire year, the fiscal flu year.
It's not the same.
And so, like, I understand the backlash where people, where I, as a Christian go, okay, maybe now the people that follow Trump so religiously will say, holy moly, this is serious. If it can happen to Trump,
right,
it can happen to you.
Right.
The difference is if it happens to you, you're not going to have access to the sort of medical attention and care that Mr. Trump is going to get. Mm-hmm. So you got to take this seriously. It's been a problem for me. It really has been the way, like I said, I'm not going to put 200,000 deaths on him. But even in the last debate, he was talking about, opening up the country, and he was saying Biden wants to open up the country, and everybody has been saying, Fauci's been saying this, everybody's been saying, there's going to be a dip in the summer, and then it's gonna tick back. They're going to have an uptick in the fall. Everybody who is an expert in the field that I know has been saying that. Mm-hmm. And so, being a Christian and trying to look for what God's good intentions are. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's one of those situations now where people go, okay, this is a serious thing. Maybe we need to reconsider this. Like our schools and all that. I mean, we homeschool our kids, so we don't really have a stake in it. But like our schools and all that are opening, and immediately you've got this teacher, that teacher. Even last night you were reading to me. Mm-hmm. This is another quarantine. It's like this is a serious thing, and people are trying to.
I was seeing parents posting that they were angry that the schools were not opening up full time
earlier,
and that they were just going. I think a lot of them are doing like kind of 2 days on, 2 days off, so they can kind of stagger the kids a little easier or something. Yeah. But the parents were angry about it, and I personally thought that was a really strange reaction.
Yeah.
Because if I was sending my kids out publicly and they were doing things that were going to help prevent my kids from catching that, then I don't see myself being angry about it. I thought it was a strange reaction from a parent and it wasn't just one parent. It was like lots of parents that were angry about it.
Well,
remember that meeting? All those parents, I don't know where it was, but all those parents showed up without masks. Banned at the school.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
But I feel like people are just going to make excuses. They're going to say, well, yeah, Trump got it, but Trump's traveling all over the place and he's meeting all different people, and I still feel like people are going to put that in some special category, and they're going to say it's not really a big thing, especially if, we're seeing, I think it said on CNN or one of these places that he was a mild case.
He has mild symptoms.
Yeah, so if
you can't have a mild case of corona, you have it or you don't.
Mild symptoms. So if he has a mild response to it where he doesn't get, some people are like really suffering through it when they get it, like ICU, the whole nine. If he doesn't have it that much, then that's just another thing that people are going to say, well, that's not really Trump was in and out of there, and it's just like the flu, everybody has to take a break.
And how to handle our world in this situation is an extremely difficult. It's easy for us because all our work is homebound, and our kids have been homeschooled for years, even before this whole thing hit. So life hasn't changed for us. So it's easy for us to say, "What's wrong with you people? Go, social distance, and don't go to work and keep everything shut down." Blah blah blah. But at the same time, it's like, okay, if you've been sending your kids to public school all your life.
Oh, and your house requires 2 incomes? What do you do?
And just the mental aspect. The mental aspect of it. You're a homeschool mom and a veteran in the trenches, and you still have a hard time. So like, it is a very, very complex issue. Like, I wouldn't trade places with Trump or anybody decision maker for all the millions in the world. But at the same time, I hope now this is going to give folks the urgency, the requisite urgency to match what is really happening. Mm-hmm. People are dying at record rates. This is a serious issue. This is a serious virus, and we need to take it seriously, especially as the fall months begin to come. Mm-hmm. And, it's very important. And holy moly.
Did you see that?
What a world we're in right now.
Did you see that thing where Amazon, I guess, is being more transparent with what their numbers are? They're like up to
Yeah.
Why are you saying it like that? Like,
Because I don't trust anything that Amazon puts out for numbers. Like, I don't trust China's numbers, and I don't trust Amazon.
those numbers were pretty big, even still.
It was like 16,000 people.
Well, I saw 20, but
Yeah, like, for the amount of employees Amazon
should be
actually
more.
has, like, especially with that case that they had where, you know, homeboy was like, yo, we gotta tell these people. And they would not tell the employees that there was a corona infected person, and then the guy that told, they fired him.
Yeah.
Like, and then they
Yeah.
had a board
and
meeting.
they said that they fired him because he was like not abiding by the distancing guidelines.
Yeah. Then they had
Had nothing to do with the
it got
strike.
leaked. They had a board meeting. They're like, oh, let's present him as some uneducated, you know, blah blah blah. Like,
Yeah, no,
like,
I hear what you're saying.
So there's a lot of, you know, really disgusting aspects of human nature on display that this virus has elucidated, and it's
No,
sad and
absolutely.
it's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
you know, you're right. We've been consistent, and you know, look, as Christians, we believe that everybody's a sinner, and I don't believe I'm a better person than Trump. I know a lot of you believe that you're the pinnacle of humanity, and Trump is at the bottom of the barrel. That's not what our theology says about human nature, and so that's the reason I never ever celebrate when somebody dies or is in mortal danger, because God doesn't delight in the death of the wicked.
And the thing is, like, when we see the wicked and there's stuff that we hate about the wicked, or we hate so much what the wicked do that we hate the person themselves, like, we don't even see the depth of how actually evil and actually wicked anybody is.
Correct.
You know, you kind of get a glimpse
Correct.
into your own heart, but even that you're deceived about.
Correct. Well, yeah.
You know,
Look, if
God
you're,
can see all the way in there.
if you're
He's still not.
happy that this happened to another human being, you're an evil person. So welcome to the club. We're all evil. That's the point. But you know, the people that celebrated Christy Teigen going through the trauma, it's a traumatic situation, man. She's 33 years old. You know, like that's horrible. Anybody, you know, and these people are supposedly pro-life, and they're making a terrible situation that much worse for her. I cannot imagine having to walk you through something like that. People saying all that type of craziness
I
about
don't even
it.
go on. I just have to stay offline.
People are horrifically evil, man. So look, Melania has it. He has it. Prayers out to them. And I would hope that my Middle America crew would step up the conversation here. And, you know, you can criticize Trump. You can even criticize the way he handled Corona. We just did. But, you know, and I'm not going to delete your comment or whatever if you express glee at this. Like, I'm not going to do that. But it's a terrible situation all around. So hopefully Mr. Trump has a speedy recovery and you know, he's good to go after that. But anyway, love your neighbor.
Take care of each
And
other.
when we say love your neighbor, please now, social distance, use your mask, give everybody their 6 feet, use your mask. Don't go to Walmart at the door, put your mask off once you're in the store to make some sort of point.
Look, I am, 7.5, 8 months pregnant?
Yeah.
It is hard to breathe walking around with my belly as big as it is and having a mask over my face. No joke. But I am trying my damnedest to make sure that I keep that mask on for the sake of everybody else around me.
Right.
But it's a challenge.
All right. If there's a 1% chance that I could be
like I
a
was gonna
walking
faint yesterday.
contagion, if there's a 1% chance I could do that to one of my neighbors, then I'm going to take precautions.
And the thing is, you never know when all of a sudden you could be a contagion. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you could have been good yesterday, but then you bumped into somebody today, and now you have it, and so now you're passing it, and you don't even realize it. So,
Yeah. So anyway, love your neighbor.
take care of each other.
Middle America.
We are the media.
Till next time, guys.